I kind of think that like it doesn't really make sense for nation state currencies to exist as they have been in the past, being fiat, sovereign issued, demanding their citizens to hold it or spend with it. Not in a digital age, not when like more and more of the population are digitally mobile, can work anywhere in the world, can travel anywhere in the world, and they want to build this currency. So anyone who's traveled a bit has noticed that there's this new movement of mainly millennials and younger digital nomading, as they speak. Well, they work online and they go to places in the world that have better value for living. And I've observed that most of them are very early in crypto because that's exactly what they need, a store of value that is in the cloud, that it's not in a bank, because banks don't work internationally. Anyone who's traveled notices that they're very pro crypto, and it actually works for a digital life. And as more and more people move into the digital realm, you see this with NFTs as well. Like more and more real world stuff is being coexisted and digitized. I'm looking at it now and looking at nation state currencies and going, it might not be obvious now, but wait 10 years and you're starting to realize it's starting to look very, very archaic, and it looks like a copper, silver and gold coins being traded versus something that is very native to effectively what runs global commerce now, which is all digital. So I don't see it as a big leap. Maybe I live in the future a bit, but I'm looking at what we've got now and what we've got right now developing, and it's just the future's here. It's just taking time to spread, and it's spreading very quickly. Yeah, I'm just really interested to see who the next buyers are. So you've got we've had the first bunch of corporates that have bought in, and we haven't had a really big Fortune 20 company come in. So I'm looking for that. I'm also looking for the first large sort of sovereign wealth fund to buy in. We've already seen El Salvador get exposure with their so a nation state has bought in, but some of the big guys, with trillion dollars of wealth to invest, looking for that kind of stuff. And also interested to see what happens with the hedge fund world, whether or not they sell off to publish their results, their earnings. I don't know. So I'm really going into the first quarter who's buying, who's selling, and so that's what I'm thinking. This, as things go on, we go from the early buyers that are small to bigger buyers, and then you had the hedge funds, you had the very notable the Bridgewaters of this world, BlackRock. They're starting to validate it, and so we're going bigger and bigger. I'm waiting for the big announcements from sovereign wealth funds and banks holding it as an asset backing. So that kind of thing of bringing more and more legitimacy into it. Just every sort of quarter we see something new. We just had the ETFs, so that was something we were watching for the third or fourth quarter of this year, and it came through. Also spot ETFs as well, whether or not they'll be approved. It's nice. It's just watching this tiny asset class get mature and become a full-blown macro asset with all of its sophistications. With cycles, when we talk about bull bear cycles in Bitcoin, it's 4 years. We've had two really prominent cycles, so everyone's looking back and going, well, we're going to end of this year, and we're going to have another pullback of 85% over a year, and then we'll have another 4-year cycle. And I'm saying I don't think that's going to happen, and I think that if given that's the case, if that's those bear cycles of bull bear cycles of 4 years are gone, then we're just going to have we'll go up and down, whether you call them bull bear cycles, but they're not 4 years in cycles. This is like a price discovery as the thing ramps up, and Like, I mean, I have these charts up every day, and seriously, we've got 12 and a half years of these charts. You know, it's carving out an adoption S-curve. 3% of the world has Bitcoin, and it's growing at a rate of 100% per annum. So it'll be 6% in a year, 6% of the world population having exposure, and then 12%, you know, and so forth. So it sounds ridiculous, right? It sounds ridiculous that we won't have US dollars in 10 years. But I remember doing this thing in 2016 and tracking the rate of growth. We had 6 or 7 years at that point. And I said, looks like in 9 years, half of the world will be using Bitcoin. And that's actually continue to be on track. So things change very quickly when we're talking about exponential change. So I think there's a fair shot that the new unit account may be Bitcoin. Sounds ridiculous when only 3% of the world's using it, but remember, it's going to be 6% and 12% in 2 years, and then it's going to look a lot more obvious. And so, yeah, if the unit account changes, and yeah, that's a lot of things change. So that's what I'm saying.
Do you want to know one thing about crypto? I made over 3,000% in profit in a few weeks. Fact is, the traditional financial system, the traditional money system makes you poor, not rich. If you want to earn $500,000, $1 million, you have to wait until you're 50, 60, 70 in the traditional financial system, and you probably will still be broke. And you will be old. This is not a sexy combination, as you can imagine. But the question is, how can you start in crypto and make these profits? Where to invest? Where do you start? My name is Gunnar and I'm from Germany, as you can hear, and things are a little bit different in Germany. More about that later on. Fact is, there are lots of different cryptocurrencies. It's a gigantic universe where beginners and professionals get easily lost. But there is light at the end of the tunnel. There are 7 key steps you need to follow to become successful in this market. You have to know them, and if you fail one of them, it's literally impossible to succeed in this market. Just an example, one of the key points is your exchange, and one of the biggest are, for example, Binance and Coinbase. These are trusted and well-established exchanges, but, and this is a big but, you won't find the super profitable coins on those exchanges. The unknown super profitable coins that get gigantic profits are not traded on those kind of exchanges. They are traded on much smaller insider platforms that are barely known. And I can tell you what those super secret exchanges are and why they are so profitable. And another super important thing are the right information sources. The point is, the internet is gigantic. There are hundreds and hundreds of YouTube channels, blogs, pages, and much, much more. And there are also market makers and influencers. For example, Elon Musk, he is not a crypto guy, but the moment he recommended Dogecoin, it went through the roof, to the moon, so to say. But why did he recommend it? Where did he hear it from? He didn't hear it from newspapers. And believe me, he is listening to someone. But you have to know who, and you have to react before he is reacting. This is really, really important. And these are only 2 of the 7 steps you have to follow in order to be successful in crypto. And if you want to know all of these steps in much more detail, and if you want to have a comprehensive checklist, here's what you should do. There is a link below this video. Click on this link and you will get the opportunity to subscribe to my channel. Click on the link and you will see a video where I explain the next steps. So see you soon. Click on the link now. I'll see you there.